Well, many people, when I go up to them and saying I'm going to write a book about the Goslings, they say Ryan, right? And I'm like, no, there's two. There's Bryan and there's Ryan. Bryan's the younger brother. And I don't know how he slipped through the cracks because he's been there. He's done all this stuff. He's been in movies, most of the same movies as Ryan, but nobody knows about him. Well, Bryan Gosling's story really began the day that his brother Ryan was discovered.
Yeah, it was right around the time Ryan got into the Mickey Mouse Club, and of course he blew up. And Bryan, I don't know if he was jealous, I don't know what the deal was, but he wanted to get into acting. So I saw him, I was scouting out Ryan, and Ryan was doing a great job, but I saw off on the side, I saw this little kid, Bryan, who was doing just as great as the kids on stage. So I saw that, hey, this guy might have a future. So right then and there, I knew I had to sign him.
Well, once Bryan decided that he was going to be an actor, everyone wanted a piece. I mean, because his brother was such a big deal at the time that everyone thought the brothers got to be, had the same talents. They come from the same family. And the first guy to pick him up, first manager, was Jake Dwellings.
It was a disaster from day one. A complete and utter disaster. I took him on his first tour of Hollywood. Big mistake. What Bryan didn't realize is that you can't just walk onto random movie sets and start shouting out random lines that he thought of and get the part. It just doesn't work like that.
Yeah, a really big incident, though, in Bryan's career was whenever Ryan was casted for The Notebook by Nick Cassavetes. He wrote the part for Ryan. Bryan thought, I can do better. And he, from what I understand, had so many harassing phone calls calling Nick Cassavetes.
Hello? I want the part! Please give me the part! Okay. I'm asking, please! Hey, Bryan. Just please. Sir, just give me the audition. I just feel like I'm right for the part. I can't breathe. Please just give me the part. Bryan, stop. No, sir, I just want the part. Bryan. I feel like I'm right to this part. I feel like I'm attached to the script, and I feel like a wave of emotion. Bryan, if you stop, I'll give you the part. Sir, that's all I was asking for. Thank you. I will not disappoint you.
Didn't go well after that.
Well, initially I wanted Ryan Gosling for the role. I thought he'd be perfect for the role, but I started getting these harassing calls from his brother, Bryan. He thought he could do better than his brother. And so a few weeks before production began, I let him try out for the role.
Mr. Cassavetes, thank you for finally getting back to me. Yeah, appreciate it. I'm Bryan. Bryan with a B. Ryan Gosling.
It was awful. It was awful.
I wrote you 365 letters. I wrote you every day for a year.
It was terrible, and he's lucky. He's lucky that he's Ryan's brother, or I wouldn't have given him a small part in my film. I mean, I made him a coal miner.
Well, after his audition with The Notebook, you kind of get depressed after something like that. It was bad. I mean, first off, he puts the clip, whoever had the footage, put the clip on YouTube, and that's not good for your career. I mean, something like that for an audition. But that started the anger. I mean, the anger, the drugs, the alcohol, and hang on.
We're talking about Bryan Gosling? No.
He thought that somehow, some way he was going to use the drugs to hopefully gain a creative edge.
The anger problems just extended into his home life, and his friends and family eventually got fed up with, the way they were being treated. They held quite a few interventions for Bryan, and nothing really took. And eventually, you know, the drugs and the anger split him up with his then fiance.
The last time we spoke, we got in a huge fight. He started taking off his clothes and quoting lines from Lord of the Rings.
I think that's when he just hit rock bottom.
Brian, what's it like to live in your brother's shadow? Get the hell in my face. Get out!
Well, after his failed engagement, he disappeared. No one saw him, heard from him, anything for, I think it was 6 or 7, maybe even 8 years. And he turned up because Ryan was doing the movie Drive with Nicholas Winding Refn. He got him an audition because he thought, you know, maybe I can get him on his feet, acting again, doing something. And I mean, it was The Notebook all over again.
Bryan is nothing like his brother, that's for sure. He's very volatile, and he bites. I mean, plainly put, he's not a nice person to be around. And coming from my short experience with him, I just wouldn't ever hire him onto anything.
Nicholas, stop this berserker! Ah, shit! Ah, no! I can't get a second!
I don't even know. Like, the audition tape speaks for itself. It was a mess.
Well, after his audition for Drive, he disappeared again, and he's still gone right now. And I don't know where he is. He may be back in Ontario with his ma. He may be in Brazil, something like that. But you know, he needs to keep doing what he's meant to do. And Bryan, if you're watching, I know that you're meant for something better, maybe better than Ryan. But come back. The world needs Bryan Gosling.
Plane to get here, taking a trip to Seattle. I have an audition there. I'm pretty nervous about it. I'm not sure what to expect. I'm gonna go out there and give it my all.